Jacques Cousteau loved the sea. He spent his whole life exploring it. The ocean was the most incredible place he had ever seen, and he wanted to share the beauty with the world. Growing up in France, little Jacques was a weak and sickly boy. Doctors encouraged him to swim to build up his strength. He discovered that he loved the water. Jacques also loved to tinker and build all sorts of gadgets. He saved his money and he bought a camera to make his own movies, then took it apart to see how it worked. When he was a young man, Jacques was badly hurt in a car accident, and doctors told him he would have to wear arm braces for the rest of his life. But he refused to accept this. Just as he had done before, he turned to the sea for strength and he swam every day in the Mediterranean. A friend gave him a pair of goggles that he could see underwater, and those goggles changed his life forever. Cousteau wanted to stay underwater longer to see even more. The diving suits of his day were heavy and bulky. They didn't allow much freedom of movement, and an air hose tethered to the diver to a boat. So Jacques set about tinkering and fashioning snorkels from things like inner tubes and garden hoses, but they weren't good enough. Cousteau and his engineer friend Emile Gauguin created a breathing apparatus that they called the aqua lung. It was the first machine that would let a diver breathe underwater for long periods of time. Now Cousteau was free to truly explore. A silent world opened up to him. Cousteau wanted to share the amazing beauty of the sea with the world, so he created an airtight cover for his camera. He made lights to illuminate the sea's mysteries, and he found ways to film underwater. Cousteau bought a boat and turned it into his very own floating research lab and film studio, and he sailed his beloved Calypso all over the world. Cousteau discovered many treasures in the Mediterranean Sea, and it was there that he shot The Silent World, the first full-length, full-color underwater film ever made. It took the world by storm. Cousteau's film gave people their first glimpse of the amazing universe under the waves. Everyone loved what they saw as much as Jacques did, and they wanted to see more. So Cousteau set about showing them. He and his team created even better diving equipment and cameras. Cousteau's team invented the diving saucer, which could hold 2 people and descend 350 meters into the ocean. Next came the sea flea, which held 1 person and could go down 500 meters. Cousteau was on a never-ending quest to go deeper and learn more. Cousteau explored the frigid waters of Antarctica and found them teeming with penguins, humpback whales, and squid. Cousteau wanted to see if people could actually live underwater. He and his team built a series of underwater labs where people lived and worked for days and weeks at a time. But they found that people needed sunlight to live, and so Cousteau's dream of colonizing the ocean was not to be. Jacques Cousteau was the world's ambassador of the oceans. He produced 50 books, 2 encyclopedias, and dozens of documentary films. While exploring the coast of Australia, Cousteau and his crew saw coral reefs, kelp forests, and sponge gardens. They came face to face with a leafy sea dragon. When diving in the waters near France, Cousteau and his crew found a sunken ship full of wine jars over 2,200 years old, and they tasted the wine. It was bitter. The fish off the coast of Africa were friendly and curious and did not swim away. Cousteau was the first human being that they had ever seen. A big grouper adopted the crew while they were filming, and he mischievously knocked over the lights and the cameras. Cousteau and his team explored the world. But when they went back to the Mediterranean, Cousteau found that it had changed. The seas were polluted. Plants and animals were dying. And so the ocean's ambassador became their most important defender. He started the Cousteau Society, which is committed to educating people about ocean life and protecting our seas from pollution. Jacques Cousteau loved the sea. He shared its beauty with the world so that everyone could love and cherish it too.